Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera bersama dengan saya Luqman Abdul Razak, moderator anda untuk hari ini. Jadi terima kasih kepada yang menonton dan jangan lupa sebelum kita teruskan lagi, jangan lupa untuk like, komen dan share video ini agar Trust TV dapat memberikan lebih banyak inspirasi dan kebaikan kepada rakyat di luar sana, khususnya kepada usahawan-usahawan di Malaysia. Hari ini kita akan membincangkan suatu topik yang agak menarik, iaitu Kerjaya di Alaf Teknologi, apa yang perlu anda tahu. Jadi bersama dengan saya pada hari ini ada dua orang panelis, iaitu yang pertama Ahmad Azhari Ahmad Kamal, Senior Manager Project Management and Business Development of Kerjaya Selangor, dan Dr. Peter Lee Fui Siong, Director Talent and Development of Awan Tech. Right. Okay, Azhari dan Dr. Peter, apa khabar?
Hai, selamat petang. Khabar baik je, Roman.
Alhamdulillah. Okey, jadi keberkesanan dan kejayaan sebuah organisasi itu sangat bergantung rapat, bergantung harap kepada proses pengambilan pekerjaan ataupun recruitment proses yang berkesan untuk kita memastikan bahawa satu jawatan itu dipenuhi dengan kualiti yang sebenarnya lah. Jadi cuma saya nak sebut bahawa recruitment proses bukan sahaja terhenti kepada pengambilan pekerja sahaja. Bahkan lebih penting adalah bagaimana untuk kita develop the talent after the job placement itu. Jadi hari ini kita akan membincangkan bagaimana teknologi dan juga proses pengambilan pekerjaan ataupun hiring proses itu dapat memberikan impak yang berkualiti kepada syarikat dan juga kepada ekonomi secara keseluruhan. Jadi Azhari, sebagai permulaan, mungkin Azhari boleh terangkan sedikit apa itu sebenarnya Selangor Kerjaya dan juga apa yang membezakan antara Selangor Kerjaya dan juga recruiting platforms atau portals yang ada di luar sana. Silakan.
Okey, bagi saya peluang untuk menceritakan sedikit latar belakang berkenaan dengan Selangor Kerjaya. So, Selangor Kerjaya program ni sebenarnya initiated by the Selangor State Government via Menteri Besar Selangor Incorporated, yang mana it was launched and officiated virtually by Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Amiruddin bin Syahri, Datuk Menteri Besar Selangor, pada 26 Januari tahun 2021, awal tahun ni. So basically this is a 3 years program that it will benefit 10,000 job seeking candidates as well as the employers, in line with the Industry Revolutions 4.0. So with our mission basically is to ensure Selangor ni jadi smart state pada tahun 2025 dan juga to propel the economy of Selangor through effective job placement dan juga developments. So to your questions number 2, basically what the difference between Selangor Kerjaya dengan yang job portal yang ada di dalam market. Okay, basically Selangor Kerjaya ni it consists of job portal, recruitment services dan juga training services. So yang mana dalam market is actually divided into 3 different spectrum, tapi untuk Selangor Kerjaya kita cover all 3 sekali jalan. Di job portal kita buat, recruitment services pun kita buat, dan selepas candidate dapat kerja kita juga provide training untuk make sure the candidate is actually ready into the job role yang mereka dapat kerja.
Baik. Jadi Selangor Kerjaya ini dia hybrid, juga dia combine ketiga-tiga elemen tadi lah. Jadi it's like satu inisiatif yang sangat baik. Cuma mungkin ada yang bertanya, adakah ia berbayar ataupun percuma atau macam mana?
Okay, this program is actually being fully sponsored by MBI Selangor. So basically it is free untuk employer dan juga free juga untuk pencari kerja candidate. Tak ada masalah, free.
Jadi daripada awal sampailah ke penghujung tu nanti, sehinggalah tamat tempoh latihan tu, semua tu adalah ditanggung oleh MBI lah.
Betul, that's right.
Okay. At the moment, berapakah secara anggaran berapa kekosongan jawatan yang ada dalam Selangor Kerjaya, dan juga apa cabaran sekarang ni yang dihadapi oleh Selangor Kerjaya dalam mencari talent ataupun pekerja yang sesuai, yang betul-betul sesuai mengikut kepada kehendak majikan sekarang.
Okay, there's two questions there. The first one will be berapa kita yang company syarikat yang telah berdaftar dengan Selangor Kerjaya dah lebih kurang dalam 140 companies yang berdaftar di Selangor Kerjaya, dan yang mana kita ada lebih kurang.
Adakah syarikat itu di sekitar Selangor ataupun di luar Selangor ke macam mana?
Dia di sekitar Klang Valley, basically.
Klang Valley, right.
Yes, KL, Putrajaya, Selangor as well lah. So we have about 700 positions currently at the moment, yang mana there's 700 vacancies yang untuk mereka semua fulfill jawatan tu lah basically. And then you are talking about what will be the biggest challenges. Basically is actually there will be a few factors in this section. The first one is of course the mismatch and skill set required by the employers, right? And then this issue is actually pretty much very common, and this is the reason why this program exists in the first place. Yang kita ni sebenarnya kita mencari jalan, kita ada gunakan teknologi yang baru untuk minimizekan all the skills job mismatch, dan juga kita gunakan teknologi yang kita ada untuk kita develop candidate supaya it match the market demands. Yang lebih sama, yang perkara yang kedua pula, basically ialah zaman sekarang we have to be very agile. So zaman sekarang we have to be very agile. Basically the candidates pun, diorang pun memilih juga kerja apa yang mereka nak buat. So company pun kena play a factor whereby it's supposed to be a very interesting job for them to apply, for the candidates to apply, barulah kita boleh dapat match. So the challenges is actually coming from here.
I see. So maksudnya dia ada dua aspek, yang satu daripada aspek pemohon kerja tadi tu, yang kedua juga daripada employer sendiri untuk menyediakan satu kerjaya ataupun career yang menarik lah, untuk diisi oleh pemohon-pemohon tadi. Baik, Dr. Peter, saya balik sekarang kepada Dr. Peter. Permintaan yang sama saya nak ajukan juga kepada Dr. sebagai permulaan. Mungkin Dr. boleh terangkan sedikit latar belakang Awantek, dan juga bagaimana Awantek menyokong usaha dan juga aspirasi Selangor Kerjaya yang diinisiatifkan oleh MBI ini. Kemudian tadi Azhari ada sebut bahawa Selangor Kerjaya ini dia adalah hybrid antara tiga elemen, antaranya adalah latihan. Jadi bagaimana Awantek menyokong usaha dan juga memaksimumkan potensi latihan ini untuk diberikan kebaikan kepada pemohon-pemohon tadi itu. Silakan Doktor.
Okay, thank you Encik Lokman. Selamat petang. Okay, a little bit about latar belakang company Awantek ni. Sebenarnya sebelum ni nama dia adalah Pelestarian Berhad. Right, dan mereka merupakan pengedar license Microsoft yang eksklusif untuk bahagian public sector lah ya. Dan dengan itu sekali it's the same thing is that they juga embedded the training punya element so that people will understand how to use the product and stuff like that. So that we have been in the training business for more than almost like dah 15 tahun ke 20 tahun lebih lah. So to start with, Awantek atau Pelestarian adalah the company started in 2003, and then it got public listed in the Bursa Malaysia in 2011. Yeah. So basically Awantek ni dah tukar nama is in a way that we also macam company lain it's actually we are also transforming into what are the conservative technology that yang dulu yang kita ada ni ada tu dah ditransformasi menjadi that means more of a cloud based and all this. So recently in February it was announced by the minister, our past Prime Minister, right, to say that they have announced Awantek, also alias Pelestarian Sistem Berhad ni, so to as a managed service provider for Google Cloud. Right, so it's no longer with Microsoft tapi with Google Cloud. In a way, what we wanted is like the whole name dah tukar ni actually in order to drive the technology industry beyond the new digital economy ecosystem lah. Yeah, so in a way we want to enhance the technology, right, and also we want to actually enhance the human potential, right. First thing is very important is into a lifelong learning culture, as well as in order to develop the local talent. Okay, which is actually at a global standard. Right? So dia dalam Awan Tech ni kita ada dua main division lah. Basically, the first division is actually on technology that actually deals with the software distribution, Google services, and so forth, and the asset management. So the other division is actually the talent side, which is headed by me and my team, that actually covers the competency enhancement, career development and placement, upskilling and reskilling of particular individuals. So sekarang we do a lot for the public sector, like since like it is all this My Digital Initiative and enhancement, so we are actually driving that forces in the public sector as well. And of course to promote lifelong learning culture that is actually very crucial. Now, Encik Loman, you were asking is like why training is important and why it needs to be embedded and why it is so important in Selangor Kerjaya. I think for the past experience that we had, right, we have done like almost like a few big projects, and like in like some sort of like a placement kind of a project. I think we have learned a lot of lesson. In a way, like you see that the lesson learned, like I can tell you that why Azari was saying cabaran ni, the matching and all these things is so tough and so challenging, was because if we don't match them and all this, I think 60-70% of them would have failed their CV screening process saja. Right?
See.
And I can tell you that about like 50% out of that drop out, and 50% of them will actually fail their interview. Right? And so forth. And
stage 2 dah fail.
Dia tak masuk stage, dia tak masuk apa-apa stage pun dah fail.
Masih tak nak masuk lagi.
Right, so that's why I think the whole design of this whole Selangor Kerjaya is actually based on our findings, our post-mortem, and what we have done in our past project. And this whole design is like a one-stop center, where we actually do the profiling. Kita profilekan you, like Encik Lokman, kita nak tahu apakah your preferences, your behavior inside, what do you prefer to do your job. Kalau Lokman tak suka cakap and all this, I suruh you buat jadi juru cakap macam ni and all these things, completely fail lah. Right, and stuff like that. So what we're saying is that we need to do the profile. We need to understand what is the internal desire that actually fits them, right? And from there, kita yang penting sekali itu kita nak buat matching ni, right? And after the matching, we want to know that the whole thing is that we want to know what are the skills yang dia ada, yang dia sangat terror, alright? Atau yang on some skills yang dia tak ada. Right? Nobody is perfect here, right? So that's why, so when we actually do that, what we call it as a process, kita panggil ni training and needs analysis lah, ya, allowing them to see that. Then from there we will actually craft out and customize individual punya development, right? And this is where we put them into training. And also into the life, what we call it as a lifelong or 1 year, whole year punya learning program using the digital punya platform learning hub, and it is known as a Selangor Kerjaya Digital Learning Hub. So remember, like Encik Roman, I can tell you that if we tak support dia kan, selepas job placement and all this, the failure of one is that the dropout rate can be as high as 50%.
You're right. Correct.
Why it is 50%?
Dua orang, seorang akan fail.
Dah masuk, and then lepas 1-2 bulan dia MIA, missing in action. Right? So this can happen. Why? Because they are lack of support. And remember, right? And the situation we are in now in the COVID pandemic situation and all this, there's so many of new things that we have to learn. So many new roles that is like emerging, that when you go into the work, you don't even know that it is there. Right? So we want to know that the new roles, new gadget, new expectation and all these things. Tapi there's nobody actually to really help you. Right, and like and no one is actually to have the time to handhold you, because like everybody also is like, hey, I don't have time. I have to learn myself to get that technology. Right? And things like it's just
multitasking lah.
Multitasking. It's like you need to know, like, Yeah, like I'm a medical doctor, right? So I have to speak digital staff technology and all these things. So you have to upskill yourself in whatever things. It's a very steep learning curve. So most of the time bila dia masuk, dia tak tahan, dia tak ada orang nak let go the fumes and all these things. Then eventually they drop out. So that's why I think the mentorship here is also very important, and this is also one of the service that we are actually giving that support, so to ensure that you have somebody to talk to. What other seems to be the problem that when you are doing work. So that means that we also want to reduce the dropout rate lah, all the missing in action punya incidents, right? So very important is like the part on, like I emphasize here again, learning and not training. So learning is something that you have to learn continuously, and like you have no excuse lah, basically, right?
Yeah, betul. So it's like we have to be more multitasking than before, right? We have to be, sometimes ada orang macam even myself, I was a consultant, and also a trainer in the construction industry. Now I'm doing live streaming, doing all the products. We have to do a lot of things, right? Just to survive in this very difficult moment lah. Doctor,
evolve lah actually. Is the right word is evolve. Kita semua
evolve.
getting better. Yes, evolve.
Evolve and also adapt to the current situation, right? Okay, Doctor, satu lagi saya difahamkan bahawa ada satu platform which is Persipio. Perhaps Doctor can tell more about the Persipio to the audience and to us as well.
Sure. I think Persipio is actually is a product or is a platform, and the platform that they are using is actually the back end is actually the Persipio lah. Tapi yang the real thing is like in Selangor Kerjaya, we actually has set up a digital learning platform which is known as Selangor Kerjaya Learning Hub. This is actually riding on the Persipio punya technology, and it is a very what we call it as a very it's an AI driven kind of digital learning platform, which is actually you boleh access through the mobile, and then the beauty about it is like it has a lot of content that is actually very, very job role based kind of a content that you can actually learn, right? And like there's no frills, you don't have to crack your head over the content, over the whole infrastructure, the setup, the updates and something like that. So we leave it to the expert. This is exactly like a cloud technology where we give the services will come from Skillsoft, which is Persipio, and then but what we need to do is that basically we want to create and curate the right training and the right skill set that they need to acquire. So the beauty about it, ada banyak I think there's a lot of content inside, right, that we can actually build the Lego around it, and it can be even go into an individual base. So remember, right, COVID-19 ni, yang pandemic ini, a lot of it is a very dramatic economic fallout, and reskilling of the staff role must be done quickly and also efficiently. Even the staff or even the job seekers, right? You need to Lokman, you were saying that I need to do this from production. I need to go and come into this, to be the host and something like that. So what it takes, right? How the communication and stuff like that. So we need the change of role, but you need to actually change this overnight, because you have to remember there are millions of people out there looking for jobs. So how can we actually make you someone who is different, who stand out in the crowd, right? So that you will actually be able to, you're always ready for the changing roles that has been given to you. And also you also have to avoid any redundancy, and also remember you will not be fired lah, because you have the skill set that the company actually wants. So always remember that things must be done very quickly now. It's no longer like I want to wait for my training. So Lokman nak jadi pengacara and all this, saya nak tunggulah bos saya nak bagi saya khusus untuk pengacara. No, you have to go online and learn all these things already.
Exactly.
Right?
Kita sekarang ni is a hands-on learning lah, right? Just jalan je. Right?
Right. And remember,
just go and learn and improve yourself, right?
Betul. Because remember that your learning, your knowledge is actually in your own hands. Yeah, it's your responsibility, your own responsibility now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, mungkin saya boleh berpindah kepada Azhari, right? Sebelum tu jangan lupa untuk teruskan like, komen dan share video kita ataupun live kita pada hari ini untuk kita terus memberikan manfaat dan kebaikan kepada orang di luar sana, sebab kita sekarang ini berdepan dengan situasi pandemik, wabak yang kita tengah masih lagi kita tengah tempuh sekarang ni dengan varian-varian baru yang muncul. Jadi kita kena ada satu inspirasi lah, right? Instead of kita sekadar based on our depends on ourselves, we need to depend on others as well to survive. So Azhari, proses yang dilalui oleh seorang dalam mencari pekerjaan itu based on your experience, apakah kesilapan yang biasa, the common mistakes yang biasa dilakukan oleh those job seekers lah, especially mungkin yang mereka ni tadi seperti yang doktor pun sebut, ada yang interview pun dah fail.
Yes.
Jadi apa dia punya main factors ataupun the kriteria sebenar yang dicari oleh majikan. And then okay, tak apalah, kita bagi Azhari untuk jawab tu dulu, mungkin itu agak panjang.
Boleh. Betul, apa yang Dr. Peter sampaikan tadi, yang mana kebanyakannya pencari kerja yang cari kerja kan, mereka bila mereka dapat apply kerja pun kat situ pun mereka dah fail dah tak dapat dah. So bila resume preparation je tu, resume preparation tu nombor satu. Nombor dua, bila sampai resume tu ke tempat employer pula, bila employer interview pula, presentation diri sendiri tu nombor dua. So nombor tiga pula, of course kita punya cara kita nak convince dengan employer tu, macam mana kita nak cakap dengan mereka yang sebenarnya kita ni sebenarnya boleh bekerja dan kita boleh buat benda ni. So this is where actually usually in my experience interviewing candidates, experience dealing with a lot of candidates yang nak cari kerja, inilah yang Selangor Kerjaya bantu. Basically Selangor Kerjaya will help all the candidates untuk kita proseskan resume mereka. Kita akan ajar mereka macam manakah cara membuat resume yang terbaik. Itu nombor satu. Yeah. And then nombor dua, selepas itu kita akan ada preparation juga. Kita Selangor Kerjaya dia akan prepare candidate ni semua untuk macam mana cara nak menjawab soalan, macam mana nak pergi preparekan diri untuk pergi interview untuk jawatan, specifically jawatan yang itu. Sebabnya apa tahu? Sebab there are a lot of candidates, sebenarnya diorang punya mistake ni, sebenarnya diorang tak tahu apa yang diorang nak. Diorang tak tahu apa yang diorang apply. Sebenarnya basically diorang just apply kerja je. They just basically just apply kerja. And then like what Dr. Peter was saying earlier, dia tahu kerja tu sebagai, tapi dia tak suka nak bercakap dengan orang. Macam mana dia nak apply kerja tu? So badan lagi dia apply. Bila dia pergi interview tu, dia gagal. Itu yang akan 1 month or 2 months down the road dia berhenti kerja. Itu yang mana kita punya Selangor Kerjaya ni in collaborations with One Tech, yang mana kita menggunakan kita punya profiling services, yang mana kita measures, kita filter dulu candidates yang macam mana yang paling sesuai untuk jawatan kosong ni, dan kita pun boleh advise kepada candidate, kalau candidate nak apply kerja ni, betul ke awak nak kerja ni? Sebab kerja ni dia memerlukan awak bercakap dengan lebih banyak, awak boleh buat ke tidak? So there will be an advice by telling. So this is where the mistakes comes in. Selalu orang tak tahu apa dia nak. Lepas
betul,
tu
kadang dia introvert tapi apply kerja sales.
Yes, lepas tu nak dekat kalau duduk duduk dekat tengah-tengah orang tak tahu nak buat apa masa tu. Macam mana nak survive itu, memang dia akan gagal. Bila dia gagal, eventually dia akan get frustrated, employer pun get frustrated. And this is very costly for employers, sebab sometimes during the onboarding session tu, it actually cost very very expensive, yang mana kita nak kena hantar candidate pergi training dulu, seminggu training dulu, barulah mereka boleh duduk dekat floor untuk bekerja. So this kind of investment has been done by the employer. Tapi kalau dapat a wrong fit candidate kerja, dah lepas training seminggu pun, lepas seminggu berhenti kerja, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of efforts. A lot of things will be the mistake is actually come here. And then Selangor Kerjaya is the one actually trying to, we use all our methods to minimize all these issues dengan profiling kita, dengan profiling kita, dengan cara kita mengajar kandidat tu, kita advise dulu kandidat ni betul ke tak betul nak buat kerja ni, and then bila dia dapat kerja tu, mereka dapat kerja, mereka boleh sukses. Sebab you have to understand the whole ideas of the Selangor Kerjaya program and why this program exists in the first place is we wanted to have a developed nation. Developed nation ni, orang ni selepas dapat kerja mereka betul-betul sukses in diorang punya kerja, and then bila mereka dapat kerja mereka get better. Get better. That is anyway, that is my passion. So I've been working in this industry. The reason why I work in this industry is because of this. So orang dapat kerja, mereka buat kerja, mereka jadi better dalam kerja mereka, life mereka akan jadi lagi bagus. And that is where actually orang kata kita pun rasa puas tau bagi orang bagi kerja.
Right. Exactly.
So yang inilah, kalau tanya silap dia, biasanya nombor satu ialah kandidat tu sendiri wants dia, apa kebahuan dia, kehendak dia, apa yang dia nak, tu nombor satu. Kalau kesilapan nombor dua, sikap kandidat sendiri. Sebab kadang-kadang kita interview kandidat, kalau kadang-kadang kita interview kandidat, sometimes during the interview session kita akan tahu, okay, kandidat ni betul-betul bagus walaupun dia tak ada mempunyai skill set yang bagus, tapi dia mempunyai attitude yang bagus. So during this attitude session ni, kita pun rasa okay, tak apa, ini kandidat ni kita boleh develop dia boleh jadi get better, dia dapat kerja, dia boleh buat. So this kind of thing is actually lacking in the market.
So basically Azari, sorry to interrupt, in terms of talent and also attitude, right? I mean talent in terms of the skills lah yang dia ada, and also the attitude, which one is more important? Of course both are important lah, tapi in terms of course kalau I as a majikan or as a employer, I nakkan personally I nakkan seorang yang ada attitude yang betul. Tapi what do you think?
In my honest opinion, skills can be taught. Tapi attitude susah. So sometimes if you have a wrong attitude, nak pergi mana-mana pun tak pergi. So kalau orang kata like what we are providing, like what Selangor Kerjaya is providing, if you have a very good attitude in terms of learning, and this program is a year-long program learning. So orang kata kalau kita dapat kerja, kita tak tahu pun kita boleh belajar supaya kita jadi pandai. Actually, in order for us to evolve and get better, that's how it's supposed to be. Dapat kerja, kita, orang kata pernah dengar ayat fake it to make it kan? Tak tahu pun, tak apa, kita cuma tahu. Bila kita tak tahu, kita belajar, kita cuba, kita buat. That is how it's supposed to be. Kita cuba.
Goreng.
Kita tak tahu, kita cuba. Tapi itulah yang mana kadang-kadang, you know, the young generation, I'm not saying that semua lah kan, tapi young generation ni, they have to have this kind of mindset. They have to have this kind of mentality. Yang mana dapat kerja tu, kita tak tahu pun, kita cuba sedaya upaya kita. So sometimes
actually willing to learn, is it? Willing to learn from others, because I can see some of my colleagues as well, and also the younger generations, they are not willing to learn. Bila orang tegur, dia start mula naik darah, and then dia rasa dia tahu semua benda, and then dia akan ada, you know, that barrier lah. Bila orang tak boleh diajar ni, that kind of attitude tu, bila dia akan jadi quite difficult to handle lah. Right? Okay, sorry, satu soalan. Saya actually this soalan pasal dah lama saya nak tanya soalan ni. Dalam CV ataupun resume, kadang-kadang dululah bila kita nak buat resume, of course I buat sendirilah, kita buat sendiri kan. Is it important to put the, you know, UPSR, the PSR punya result, you know, the ketua pengawas dululah pernah jadi.
Okay, to be honest to you, no. But then again, if you see in the market, okay, if you want, I give a very quick tips in the sense that biasanya bila kita buat sesuatu kerja tu, kita misal kata macam saya buat kerja A, ataupun Dr. Peter dia buat kerja A dia. So dalam kerja A dia ni, ya, kalau nak suruh dalam resume kita tu, tak perlulah nak tulis kita punya apa orang kata, kita punya apa yang kita dulu dalam sekolah macam mana tu semua penting. What is most important is kita punya achievements. Apa yang kita dalam kerja kita tu, apa yang kita achieve.
What we have done lah.
Yes.
What we have done.
Orang kata macam setiap kerja tu dia ada KPI dia, setiap kerja tu dia ada standard dia, setiap kerja tu dia ada dia punya target dia. So if you be able to write down your achievements dalam resumes, itu bila orang baca, oh bagus ni orang ni, boleh cuba.
I see.
This candidate is achiever. Budak yang orang kata candidate yang achiever, dia boleh cuba, dia boleh buat. Macam tu.
Okay, baik. Okay, Dr. Peter. So sekarang ni tadi Azari dah cerita panjang tentang all the challenges and then apa kesilapan-kesilapan yang dilakukan oleh candidates especially bila nak datang interview dan sebagainya. So now as we can basically agree that the technology and then the innovation of the technology sekarang ni dah boleh kita katakan bahawa memberikan satu impact yang sangat positif kepada recruitment process. So in terms of kita nak buat filtering process and then nak select all those candidates yang sesuai dan sebagainya, memberikan kesan yang sangat baik kepada even kepada employer juga, right? So apa pandangan doktor? Okay, sebagai medical doctor lah, right? Tadi doktor dah sebut doktor as a medical doctor. Of course, orang ingat doktor ni is a philosophy doctor. So sekarang ni kita tahu Dr. Peter adalah seorang doktor, medical doctor. Macam mana kita nak mengambil peluang sekarang dalam situasi pandemik yang kita sedang hadapi sekarang, bagaimana pekerja-pekerja yang ada di luar sana boleh memanfaatkan all those online courses, trainings and classes to develop themselves?
Yeah, Lokman, I think I just want to touch on when you ask about the SPM, UPSR and things like that. So just a part of the joke is when I interviewed Azari, so I never even look at his certificate. So it is actually very, very important. It's the part on the interview section you are able to touch and identify the needs and then the capability. If you ask that whether it's attitude or knowledge, I will still say I agree with Azari 100%. It's the attitude of you want to learn, you want to change, and you are ready to change and adopt to the most recent technology or whatever that is actually required for you to do the job, right? That is very, very important, and this is something that every recruiter, right, whether HR or the interviewer, they will look into that. They will drill you until you find that element in you that is dalam hati, the hardware, HEARTWARE.
Wow, hardware.
Yes. So in terms of you're talking about the technology, I have told many people. In fact, when we're giving the motivation talk and all these things, right? Remember, the digital or the technology IR 4.0 revolution is a real revolution. Revolution yang tak ada U-turn now. Right? That you cannot do any U-turn. It's like something that you have to live with it, whether you like it or not. So it's either you go along with it or you stay at the back, and forever you'll be there. So a lot of the time when we're saying that anybody yang tak tahu technology and all these things macam mana dia boleh dapat kerja and all these things, I'm telling you, in a year or even in this post pandemic segmentation or the era of post endemic ini, right? I would say that if you have zero technology, you will not go anywhere and you will not be able to get any job and stuff like that, right? So that's why you have to learn a lot of things online, whether it is specific or not lah. Let's say even you go on a Google search and stuff like that, you Google and things like that, you can learn so many things, right? So that's why when you go on the online, you go into all sort of platform, you boleh cari bermacam-macam online learning that you can actually grasp, and I say get something that you can actually speak and also during the interview very intelligently and up to date of the technology. Things like basic things, like a fundamental thing. Come on, I mean, who doesn't know how to use WhatsApp in this era? Betul? Who doesn't know apa itu buku muka? Facebook. Right? Even the auntie and uncle, like grandmother and all this, they are using WhatsApp to do this, which in the pandemic and all this, like raya kan banyak-banyak lah, banyak this thing, and all this, you can do a virtual thing, and you can even see nenek moyang, datuk and all this using TikTok. Right? They berjoget-joget kena TikTok and then they have fun with it. But these are technology. And people don't realize that this is technology. People will always think that technology is so technical and nothing it is something that I don't know, but it is actually already in part of your life. How many people, I will say that a lot of the times when I ask people, right, if you leave your wife or your handphone at home, you left your wife or your handphone at home, which one do you make a U-turn and come back and get it back?
Wah, ini soalan Cipu Mas.
Kan? I'm telling you now, you see, like even like the COVID era and all these things, right? If you don't bring your handphone and all, you can't even enter the shopping mall.
Exactly.
Simple as that. Right, and these are the things what we're saying, communication apps, and like even like something like you need to know a little bit about the cloud culture now, and cloud culture is part of the technology, is part of a revolution. We need to think of like agile mindset, and people are asking me, "Alah, doktor technical sangat ni, agile mindset ni apa ni?" Is to analyze and give solution, and that's it. And there are so many things out there, the development application lah, analytical tools lah, and whatever, virtual teaching lah, meeting and all these things. I would say lah, Lokman, and for information, right? I would say that it is an excuse that you are not learning, or you have nothing to learn, or you have no access to learning. So that's why learning online is very, very important, and like it needs to have a lot of content, but those content must be ada credential dia lah, ada accredited and stuff like that. Jangan nanti you belajar something and then you jadi ajaran sesat pula, and then you teach the wrong thing to the people, right? So that's why I think it's important that the technology that you learn, okay, online, whether it's free ke kat mana ke or whatever, it is important, like you know that this is actually comes from a credential sources, right? The source that is credential and is established by the professionals. So this is very, very important. And this is how, I mean, like for me, if you ask me a little bit, so as what Azari said, and you said, you need to have some lingo, a digital or techno lingo with you in your mind, so that when you speak, you can speak intelligently. When you say, doctor, can you talk? Lokman, if you ask me, doctor, can you tell me about the cloud? I can take you to 12 o'clock midnight. But if you can talk, can you tell me about what you mean by blockchain or whatever? You have a little bit of each, so that you can dress yourself well, and so that you come in a nice package, and people will know that yes, this guy has actually taken the initiative to learn. So remember, I think a lot of people were saying that the failure rate can be high, whether Selangor Kerjaya punya team and all these things, they are frustrated or not or whatever. It is quite frustrating, but I think at the same time it is also quite rewarding for us to see that we groom people in a different manner. Right? Yep. I think that is more rewarding. The rewarding part is more than the frustration part lah. So hopefully it will continue. And the people that who are ready, means like these are the people who are ready. Normally they will actually clear their interview and people will take them. Right? So as what Azari said, if it is dah kahwin salah dengan bini yang salah, right? You will suffer basically the whole of your life. So at the end dia cerai lah, banyaknya cerai dan berkeluarga and all this. So but I will say that a lot of the time when people do not know what they are applying and all these things, once after they apply 2 or 3 jobs, they will get, one is like frustration is there, tapi yang penting sekali, mentally they are very, very demotivated, and mentally they are very, very low in self-esteem. So when they go for the next round of the interview and all this, they are so demotivated, and they don't bother anymore, you see. So they are not
and
like
dia
the
akan
positive
give up
attitude dia tak ada dah. Memang dia tak ada that vibes, tak ada the positive energy dah. And that is something that we should avoid.
Okay. Doktor, sikit saya tak sentuh tadi. Doktor ada sebut tentang all those online courses yang perlukan kepada credentials tadi. Mungkin ada dilema di luar sana, because sometimes we can get all those information from YouTube, right? A lot of people out there, they are sharing the knowledge and also the info for free. Tapi like Dr. Peter said, they need to have some credentials, right? So mungkin ada dilema bahawa all those courses tu agak mahal. Dia punya fees tu kadang-kadang tak mampu nak ditanggung oleh orang yang berkenaan lah. Maknanya kita, let's say I want to go to that professional training, it cost me like 5,000, 6,000, so I cannot afford. So macam mana kita nak selesaikan this dilema yang sedang dihadapi. Even sekarang ni lebih-lebih lagi disebabkan pandemik, orang sekarang ni nak berjimat cermat dan sebagainya. And then ada satu lagi force yang mana kita kena develop ourselves, but then we need to spend some money. So macam mana kita nak reconcile this
I think for your information, if kalau kata Selangor Kerjaya punya, you actually have all the courses, like it's about 8,500 courses that is actually available and open for you, whether it is business skills ke, technology skills ke, even the soft skills ke or whatever, yeah. So to let you know that you actually have the access of this, like for one whole year, right? You and everything is at no cost, free. So when we actually look at the whole thing, is that yes, some of the certification is expensive, but I think most of the time when during the interview and all these things, if you are able to show that you have learned something and you are able to grasp hold of something, you can actually speak something which is intelligent and related to the work and all this, then you can always go and tell the employer and says that, hey, if I can do better if it is like if it is certified and things like that. But most of the time, to be fair, I think the employer also also in a way they are empathize, simpati sangat juga, and say that maybe that is not really required, but we can always groom you, right? And that is the beauty about the employer yang bagus, so what we are saying. But for yang kalau training and all this and untuk certification and all, so all this actually is included into the Selangor Kerjaya. Yes, the training is sponsored. In fact, you have that certain amount of credits with you, which is I can open with you, it's around 1,009 ringgit of training that you can actually have that credit to be trained. You tak boleh dapatkan duit, but we actually can always plan the whole training that within that context, right? Memang mahal, I think, tapi kalau tak dapat,
mahal tapi berbaloi.
Yeah, berbaloi. Tapi I'm saying that if those people who cannot afford, I think the best thing is just go and learn, speak and all this, and then show your interest. I'm sure that the company will groom you towards that certification punya path. Yeah. But you kena show initiative dulu lah, Okay.
Betul. That one I couldn't agree more, because sometimes the employer want to see your attitude first, right? What is your intention? Is it adakah you betul-betul nak belajar, ataupun is it macam you sengaja nak up yourself, right, to show that you rajin and right? So kita on that as well. Okay, balik pada Azhari. Sekarang ni kita tengok isu pengangguran ni isu yang evergreen lah, right? Bila-bila dalam even dalam Dewan Rakyat ke, dalam seminar ke, conference ke, memang akan bincang isu pengangguran ni. Lebih-lebih lagi bila kita sedang berdepan dengan pandemik, banyak pada kalangan kita yang ada yang dibuang kerja, ada yang dikurangkan gaji, right? And even sekarang ni banyak sekarang ni yang in terms of job matching ni, mereka dah sekarang ni kerja di luar bidang sekarang ni, just to survive in this very difficult moment. So especially sekarang saya nak sentuh mungkin the best specific, iaitu Gen Z, right? Sekarang kita adalah generasi Z dan juga millennials, right? Mereka ini tadi saya ada sebut juga agak choosy, right? Dia agak memilih, okay, in terms of kerja yang dia nak sahaja. Okay. Jadi adakah benar pernyataan ini, dan juga apa advice Azhari kepada all those yang di luar sana yang mana mereka sekarang ni nak kerja ikut apa yang mereka nak ataupun ikut bidang yang dia sesuai. Adakah boleh? Okay.
I'll be very upfront. When it comes to evolving technology, it's supposed to be by both parties. Pekerja pun sama, employer pun sama. So employer pula kena play a factors yang mana kerja mereka tu is supposed to be during the current endemic situation now ni yang kita dah getting improving. So basically the kerja tu bukan dah jadi macam kerja yang masa zaman dulu-dulu. Zaman dulu-dulu, orang dulu-dulu ni nak kerja. Zaman sekarang kita dah cari ikut zaman sekarang punya trend. Sebab zaman sekarang budak-budak dia lebih kepada I want the flexibility. I want to be able to do my job at a certain time so that I be able to do whatever I'm supposed to do. Or maybe I can use technology, for example, like WhatsApp, or maybe like Instagram, or maybe like TikTok or whatever to do all the promotions that I wanted to do. So kat sini is actually whereby this candidate ni semua diorang generasi muda ni, diorang interested untuk kerja dalam bidang-bidang macam ni. Dia interested untuk kerja dalam, orang kata macam benda buat orang dah tak konvensional, tak macam dulu konvensional masuk kerja pukul 9, balik kerja pukul 6, cukup time balik. Tak, orang zaman sekarang ni dia dah generasi sekarang ni dia nak berubah, dia nak lain, dia nak different, dia nak ada flexibility. So they might be coming to office, they might be have sometimes they have to work from home. So this kind of thing actually, if you ask me, yes, memang candidate zaman sekarang diorang memilih dalam bab ni, itu satu. And then kalau back kepada employer pun kena start evolving the technology. Employer pun dah kena start to improvise the business model untuk menggunakan teknologi yang ada untuk make sure the business evolve. That's number 2. And then when it comes to the candidates pula, yes, candidate punya advice, okay, my advice to the candidate, yes, you can do whatever that you want, your interest, tapi dalam masa sama you pun mesti kena understand there will be a business policy yang kita kena bekerja. So you need to be able to adapt to this, whereby you tak kira lah generasi mana pun tetap kena make sure business tu berjalan. So zaman sekarang ni teknologi ni, walaupun zaman teknologi masih kena ada fundamental cara bekerja tu mesti kena ada. So generasi muda ni mesti kena ada sikap yang okay, they have to understand, although the business, the concept, the nature of business now change, the economy change, semua orang buat jalan kerja yang baru, tetapi fundamental business tu tetap sama.
Right. Sekarang ni kalau saya tengok juga ada yang tadi Azari sebut dia tak flexibility. Dia tak suka masuk 9 balik 6, masuk 8 balik 7. Okay, dia nak, kalau boleh dia nak kerja ikut waktu yang dia selesa. Mungkin dia kerja waktu pagi, ada dia rehat, tengah hari dia kerja lagi, waktu malam dia kerja lagi, ikut dia punya flexibility. Tapi of course the fundamentals of the work tu still have to be complied, right? Kita ada dia punya policy, dia punya philosophy tu still ada di sana, right? That this young generation have to understand as well. And then mungkin sedikit lah apa sebenarnya kekuatan yang ada pada generasi yang sekarang ni, maknanya the millennials and generasi Z. Sebab saya banyak juga attend webinar and also dengar few speakers said about this. Banyak yang point out the weaknesses, right, tapi dia tak banyak sentuh kepada strengths of this generation. So mungkin Azari boleh sebut.
To me what I like the most about the young generation nowadays is their mindset, their thinking, their ways of doing different things. Yang mana zaman dulu punya orang, diorang very conventional. Macam saya ni combination of both. Separuh orang tua, separuh orang muda. yang mana cara saya bekerja tu kadang-kadang very conventional. But then again, when you talk to this generation, young generation kan, sometimes 2 plus 1 is also 3, but 1 plus 2 is also 3. But they have their own ways of doing things, so that dia orang macam okay, we do this but we can achieve the same thing. We can achieve in fact better. So kadang-kadang kita kena, generasi sekarang ni diorang punya pemikiran, diorang evolve, diorang boleh keluarkan something benda yang baru. This is where I think the difference between the previous generation and now punya generation sekarang ni, macam-macam benda kita tak pernah terfikir pun dia boleh buat.
Betul.
Mungkin benda boleh buat. So kita jangan cakap yang diorang ni tak bagus. Sebenarnya memang diorang ni, memang dari segi, sebab kita, instead of kita looking at diorang punya strength, kita asyik sibuk tengok kat diorang punya weaknesses tu, tak jumpa yang macam mana diorang jadi bagus ni. But if we use their strength, we use their capacity yang hebat dalam bidang, dalam evolving ni, so why don't we use that and get them to find a new way of doing things. Macam tu.
Betul. Okay. Okay, terima kasih Azari dan Dr. Peter. Sebelum kita habis, right, mungkin Dr. Peter dan juga Azari boleh share sedikit nasihat kepada mereka di luar sana yang sedang mencari-cari kerja, ataupun mungkin sekarang ni like Dr. Peter ada sebut tadi, mereka dah feel demotivated, ataupun ada yang mungkin dah give up. Okay, jadi apa nasihat yang boleh diberikan kepada mereka di luar sana? Silakan, mungkin doktor dulu, boleh?
Dr. Peter dulu.
Boleh. I think in a way, okay lah. I think a lot of people were saying that Gen Z ke, XYZ ke, millennials ke, ni dia nak cari kerja, dia cuji sangat. Sebenarnya, I think we deal with a lot of all these millennials candidates as well, and and we are actually personally working together with a group of cohort millennials ni, which is actually OKU in one of the renowned university. I sense that they are not choosy. I sense that they don't have, dia tak ada orang guide dia, right? Sometimes the parents, especially like the B40 and all this, right? The parents also don't know what to do with them, and they just masuk khusus apa yang ada saja yang dipilih. Selagi anak saya masuk universiti, dah dapat, dah mencapai saya punya hasrat. Tapi the important thing is like we need to guide them. Right, I think we have to be very patient with them, but we also have to their thinking and their thoughts. Right, I think in a way that will actually help them. And like for like nasihat this thing, I think very very important. Learning, you have to continue to learn, right, with the latest technology, and make yourself knowledgeable enough so that you are prepared for the revolutionary punya era now. Yeah. Last thing from me is like please don't give up. It's not the end of the world. There are people out here like like the program macam Selangor Kerjaya dan sebagainya tu, actually to help to assist you all. So just I think the important thing is like don't give up, and we understand you go into 10, 20 interview or so forth or whatever it is. The plus point, always think positively. You try, right? But you fail, you try again. Don't give up, and don't feel demotivated and shy away from whatever that they are going to do. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Azari, your turn now.
I think my honest advice, because this is what actually I do myself every single day, I'll be honest. Came to work, yes, I do the job, but came to work with one mindset all the time: learning. So bila kita masuk kerja tu, memang kita buat kerja tu, memang kita dah hebat dah kerja tu, dah power dah. But if you don't have that learning punya mentality, that learning punya mindset, you will not be able to absorb more information. You will not be able to learn more and get more. So this is where nak cari kerja, yes, nak cari kerja, you kena make sure dalam kepala you tu, even though you dapat kerja tu, you akan develop. Bila employee dengar nak pergi interview, nak dapat kerja pun nak develop, I want to go and get better, I want to jalan, there is a direction I want to go. You know, employer will say, okay, this candidate is bagus sebab dia ada vision dia sendiri. So you need to have this. You need to have this. You need to have this kind of mindset, this kind of mentality. When you go out there, you show to yourself, pergi jumpa orang, because this you are selling yourself tau. Pergi jual diri sendiri kat tempat syarikat ni. So when you want to sell yourself, macam mana you nak orang to view you? So this is where it's supposed to be lah. Your mindset. Bukan orang tak tahu kita punya perangai dekat rumah macam mana. So how we going to talk to them? So this is how you going to deliver to them, how you going to sell to them. So do this. You come for the interview or with the mindset yang even though I dapat kerja, I will always learning. Orang suka ni.
Okay, terima kasih Dr.
Dan nombor 2, advice nombor 2.
Oh, ada lagi. Okay,
Sila register di Selangor Kerjaya. Register di Selangor Kerjaya, macam-macam benefits ada. So itu advice yang nombor 2. Register Selangor Kerjaya, dan you will be able to get it.
So what is the website?
www.selangorkerjaya.com.my. Ataupun boleh
tengok
follow kita punya, boleh follow kita orang punya social networks, LinkedIn ada, Twitter ada, Facebook ada, Instagram ada. So kita ada updates every day.
Alright, interesting. Okay, so sebagai kesimpulan mungkin kita kita bersama boleh bersetuju dan juga saya sangat yakin penonton kita juga bersetuju bahawa teknologi dan juga kemahiran kendiri, the self values tu sangat-sangat penting dan berkait rapat untuk menjamin pertumbuhan ekonomi dan juga syarikat itu sendiri. Okey, jadi kepada mereka yang berminat di luar sana untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut berkenaan dengan Selangor Kerjaya, anda boleh layari website www.selangorkerjaya.com.my. Is it?
Betul.
Right, untuk tahu lebih lanjut dan juga lebih-lebih lagi kena dengar nasihat Azhari lah. Okay, kena enroll lah, right? Kena register as pemohon, juga employers juga diadu-adukan untuk bersama menjayakan aspirasi Selangor Kerjaya ini. Jadi terima kasih kepada kedua-dua panelis Ahmad Azhari dan juga Dr. Peter kerana sudi bersama dengan saya TV pada hari ini, dan kita jangan lupa sekali lagi untuk like, komen dan share video ini untuk memberikan lebih banyak manfaat, info kepada rakyat di luar sana, sebab saya yakin bukan kita sahaja yang perlu pekerjaan pada masa ini, orang lain juga, mungkin ada kawan-kawan kita, adik-beradik kita, jiran tetangga kita yang mereka ini mungkin dalam keadaan susah tapi kita tak tahu. By sharing this video kita boleh membantu mereka secara tak langsung juga. Okay, so itu saja untuk strategi hari ini. InsyaAllah kita jumpa lagi pada episod yang akan datang. Saya Luqman, moderator anda. Assalamualaikum dan stay safe. Bye-bye.
Terima kasih. Bye.
Bye. All the best.